Hi, Joe Cerrone. Welcome to Introduction to 3D Printing, CAD 107. This is our weekly Zoom meeting, and we're going to go through this week's content. So we've posted the latest project, which is Lab 6. It's Project 7 in our textbook 3D printing projects. It's a memo pad holder. It looks like this on AutoCAD. If we follow the links from top to bottom, we've started to color code our projects. So blue would mean that it's from the book. We click on that. Oh, that's not working. So let's download that and we'll take a look at it. I see why. So the Word files take a little bit longer to load. So it's a memo block holder. And as we look at these projects, they work really well for just simple things that we want to go through and work with different concepts. And so the concept that we're going to cover in this week is how to use the slicer. And as we look at how that maps to Chapter 3, 3D printer workflow and software, we discussed some of that last week, and I created another video just today to talk about how that ties into our other textbook, Mastering 3D Printing. So basically it's an 88 by 88 millimeter square part. It's got this small radius on the bottom. It's got a 5 millimeter perimeter around the outside object. And to be able to model this, they use these very generic modeling aspects where draw this square, extrude it 10 millimeters high, and then go through and put a fillet on the bottom of it, and then select the top face, create another square, and then subtract that, and then another square and subtract that as well. So to be able to create this with AutoCAD, we've created a video for you. If we go back to the main splash page, so that's the project. Here's the tutor file. This is the file that you can download from AutoCAD. So if I click on that and I download it and I open it, we have an example of how we created that. And it ties into the video where we start off, if I go with the top view, start off by creating the basic geometry. And then once we have that geometry created, we'll extrude that 10 millimeters. We'll fillet the edges. We'll create another rectangle on the top of it. And then we'll press that down or extrude it. And then we'll create another square shape on top of that. And we'll do the same. We'll pull that down into the part. And then there's a little bit of an area of how to put your name on the front of it. And so that video is available for you in the video section. If we click on this right here and play that. And so I go through and I show you how we modeled that tutor file. And you don't have to use the tutor file. You could just draw it straight up. If you're a good CAD person, you have some CAD design experience, all you really need to do is use a metric title block. And as we've said before, you can use either AutoCAD or SolidWorks to create these lab projects. Okay, back to the main splash page. So you're to complete the memo pad holder, model it, and then bring it into the slicer and slice that file. And so in the video, I give you a demonstration on how to slice a file. And so we talk about 3D printing, and we go through the chapters. We created the part, and then we inserted it, or we opened it up in our Dremel DigiSlicer. We orientate the part. We talk a little bit about infill settings. And so as we're progressing in the course, we're starting to now incorporate the Dremel DigiSlicer. Now, if you haven't installed the Dremel DigiSlicer software, it's free. It was announced in the main splash page, but you can Google Dremel DigiSlicer and you will be able to find the software for that. And so here's the link to it. And you can then download the Windows version or the Mac version. And then the next thing we're starting to work with is this wireless print cloud, which is really neat. We should be able to print remotely. So that's where you can get that software if you don't have it. That's our tutorial file. And then other things, as we start to work with these projects, make sure that you take the assignments and you place them in the Dropbox, place them in the appropriate lab folder for those files. Lab 5 is due October 13th. And then go to the quizzes and exams and do the review questions at the end of each chapter. Okay, so that completes our Zoom classroom meeting for this week. If you have any questions, I'll open up the Zoom meeting for that now.